radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to hit the pick. Touchdown! Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Lau Desmond and Christian Giordani. Bet on us to make you a better bettor. What? It's time to hit the pick.
Well, actually, no Christian Giordani tonight. Christian just gave me a call a couple of minutes ago. He's like, I can't get my camera to turn on. And so, we'll see if he can pop in or not. I think he's in Mexico, actually, right now. He's either in Mexico or Costa Rica. So he's one of those places. So maybe that's giving him problems. Our guest tonight, the Great White Love Machine, is out getting drunk by a pool in Las Vegas right now. What do you bet he's passed out in a lawn chair, David Delano?
I'm going to say the over-under. I'll give him, it's about, 5:04 on the West Coast. I'll give him about, I'll actually give him till about 6:05. I'll give him about another hour.
About another hour. You know, it's that drinking in the hot sun is never a good idea. Especially around large bodies of water, which he's at that swim up giant outdoor sportsbook swimming pool thing in Vegas.
The Circa, yeah.
Which I just think is a crazy idea. But whatever, okay. I actually went to a friend's bachelor party in Vegas, and we stayed at the Hooters Hotel, which, by the way, small property, but it had the greatest if you're hungover the next morning pool, because one part of the pool was kept warm. The other part of the pool, especially because it's Vegas and in the summer, it's hot. One part of the pool was chilled. So it was, bracingly cold. And so, man, nothing clears up a hangover like splashing into freezing cold water. And then you just got to chase that with a morning beer and you're good to go.
Now, when you go to Vegas, are you one of those guys that likes to, once you find a place you like to stay at the same place each time? Or do you mix it up?
Because the last years that I was going to Vegas, remember, I used to live about 2 hours from Vegas because I was in Southern California. And so all we had to do from my house, it was 2 miles to the 10 freeway, and then you were off. You're on your way to Vegas. I'm very excited about the train that's going to go from LA and through the Inland Empire and out to Vegas. I always thought that was a great idea because that way you wouldn't have to drive out or drive back and you could drink on the way. But anyway, I would bounce around according to offers mostly, or places where I had status. But we got to like the Link a lot because we had kids. And so you could get a 2-bedroom suite there fairly reasonably. So mom and dad had a little privacy and the kids had their own room. And it was very kid-friendly property. So that was where I stayed a lot. I used to like the Orleans quite a bit. What about you? You got a spot in Vegas you like?
Yeah, I used to. I kind of like, even though it's pretty busy, I like being close to the downtown kind of Fremont area over there.
Fremont Street, right?
A few of those different ones over there, like the Plaza is cool. There's that downtown hotel that's just right off of Fremont, which is cool. And then, Luxor, Mandalay, if I'm over in that area. But I've honestly tried to stay at a different place. I've probably been to Vegas, I think maybe 9 times, and I've stayed at about 7, 8 different places. So
I used to go to the Consumer Electronics Show every year, go to CES every year because I had a client that was in high tech. And one year we ended up booking our hotels really late, and we stayed in this divey place over on Fremont Street. And it was about the 3rd day, and I was just exhausted by about 3 p.m. So I told the rest of the crew, I said, guys, I'm done for the day. I got to go catch a nap before we have this dinner with the client tonight, or I'm going to fall asleep in the first course. So I go back to the casino and I'm walking through the lobby, and there's a craps machine. Craps table people are pretty active at. So it's a weekday in kind of a crappy casino hotel in Vegas in the Fremont Street downtown part of town. And these are a bunch of old timers. These are old guys. And one guy is just having a terrible run of luck, and he gets the dice and he immediately craps out. And he's muttering like Popeye, and he starts to kind of lose his temper. And the pit boss comes over and he's like, "Hey, pal, calm down." The guy pushes him, puts his finger in his face, and he says, "F your mother." The guy punches the old guy. Both these guys are in their 70s. The pit boss and the other guy. And then you have this full-on old man brawl. And there's tables getting knocked over and security trying to stop people from grabbing chips. It was chaos. It was so great. It was like something out of a movie. F your mother. Bam! And it was on.
Yeah, at that age, I mean, nothing good can come out of fighting, but that's what happens with alcohol. I mean, whether you win or lose, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose one way or another.
The good news is that they weren't really being able to do any damage to each other. You know what I mean? It was more like, like they were trying to hold each other up. Anyway, let's talk some sports betting, shall we? How you been doing on the preseason betting?
I've been doing all right. I think I'm about like 6-3 so far in the preseason. A lot of the games I've been diving in a little bit slowly. I didn't have any of these last couple days. Thought about going with the over yesterday in that game and kind of held off. We've seen so many of these games go high scoring. In week 3, you almost, based off what we've seen, you almost want to go with the over in a lot of these games, but it's also the time where some teams are shutting it down.
Who knows who's going to be playing?
Yeah, and you don't want to ride the trend too long and start messing up the at this point, what you got for your bankroll with meaningful college football starting tomorrow and the NFL week 1 coming right away. You don't want to do too much, just if you really love something, you can ease in, but I don't want to really do too much this last week.
I struggled a little bit coming out of the gate NFL preseason, but I've closed it out with a 6-2 run. I'm done for the year betting on preseason. I have nothing going preseason this week. I'm concentrating on week 0 of college football tomorrow, and then we'll talk some over and unders. I've got my over and under locks. I've narrowed it down to 3 bets I'm going to be making on over and unders for the NFL season. I got 3 that I think are absolute locks, and so we can talk about those as well. But first, I've got some QB questions in the NFL. I'm going to say a name, and you tell me what kind of season you think they're going to have.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Caleb Williams.
I think Caleb Williams is going to have a solid year. I think a little bit better than last year with new coaching in place. And Williams was not that bad. I know, he paints his nails, and a lot of people don't like his attitude, but, he did a good job protecting the football. When you look at the amount, as terrible as that offensive line was, and for the amount of punishment that he took, I actually was pretty impressed with him. So I think that he's going to take a step forward, and I'm expecting a strong season out of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I saw him. I got to see him a lot in college, especially that last year at USC. And he wasn't very good. He made some spectacular plays, but he can't do the simple stuff. And he holds the ball too long. And he, instead of stepping up to in the pocket, he backs up. And I just, I was actually in Chicago all of this last week. I just got home last night. And you'd think it was the second coming of who has ever been a good quarterback on the Chicago Bears? They can't have a second coming because they've never had one. But in any case, the people I was talking sports with in Chicago are like, oh, Caleb Williams is going to be the MVP. Caleb Williams is going to lead us to the playoffs. And I'm like, whoa. Let me say 3 words: Vikings, Lions, Packers. That is a tough division. And so, I think they're going to be the 4th best team in that division. And yeah, I just think the expectations are too high for him right now. All right. Michael Penix.
You said who?
Michael Penix.
Oh, Michael Penix. Okay. Oh, man. I think that I'm not really too high on I would say definitely below Caleb Williams. I think it's going to be a learning year. Decent, maybe probably 19th, 20th in QBR towards the end of the season, kind of in the bottom third. That would be my prediction.
I think Michael Penix, you may be right on this year, but I think he's going to have a really, really solid career in the NFL. Of course, he played for the Washington Huskies and took him to a national championship, and he was fantastic. He could become one of the most notable left-handed throwers of the football in NFL history, because there just haven't been that many. Steve Young probably is the most notable, don't you think? Left-handed quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was a huge Steve Young fan just from the way he played and everything around those times. But I feel like with it's hard to go off of the preseason, but I feel like the most notable thing so far we've seen from Penix is just see how many times his name gets misspelled. We got to watch out for that. Soon somebody's going to throw him onto a WNBA court. The way they misspell his name. In any case, Aaron Rodgers. You know, there you
go. That's the same thing I do when okay, go ahead.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay healthy the entire season. I do think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to surprise some people, but I do think that we're going to see some maybe some Skylar Thompson action. We'll see. But I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I'll give him 11 starts this season, and I think we're going to see a similar performance to last year. I think with that defense and that coaching staff, they'll do decent and have a winning season. But I don't have high hope for Aaron Rodgers. He's not the same Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be more of a game manager, and I think he's going to miss at least 6 games.
Cam Ward, number 1 pick. Probably the least talked about number 1 pick quarterback ever. I never hear anybody talking about Cam Ward.
I think that the Titans, I think their win total is 5.5. I do think that they're going to exceed their win total. I think that Cam Ward is going to have a strong season for a rookie. I do. I think that after those first 3 games or so, I think he's going to get going. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see anything historic like a Cam Newton type rookie year or anything like that. But I think that we're going to see a strong season out of Cam Ward. I think he's going to make it through the season. And I think that the Titans are going to win at least 6 games. I think they're going to be a competitive 6-11. I think that they're going to be a team that we definitely see. They've got substantially better, and they're going to feel good about where they are in year 2 going forward with them.
Important stat to note. The Titans led the NFL, along with the Cleveland Browns, in turnovers last year, turnovers lost. The person who was responsible for half the total turnovers, all by his little lonesome self, was Will Levis, the mayonnaise king. So
started week 1, giving that game away, the very first game of the season to the Bears.
There was like 4 or 5 games where Will Levis basically gagged the game away with a turnover.
I was on the wrong side of a few of those.
And I had high hope. I thought Will Levis was going to be good. So don't make me an NFL owner anytime soon. And by the way, I found out today that I've been picking in the wrong spot for my fantasy football draft is Sunday at noon. So for the past month, a couple times a day, I'm doing a draft and I'm picking in spot number 4. So I'm getting used to where all the players are falling and what round I'm going to go after who. And then one of the guys in the league today says, "What do you mean 4? You picked number 6." And I'm like, oh, great. So I have to completely change my strategy and change it all around, and I'm completely thrown off. Justin Fields.
Oh, man.
He's going to suck.
I think that Justin Fields is going to be a better fantasy. I think he might be a solid fantasy option, a solid fantasy stream.
He's going to run a lot.
Yeah. I saw someone talking about that on Instagram. It was a reel where it was like, hey, so what? He can't read a defense. He's running the ball like a man. Look at him. He's already running for his life.
Hey, Preseason here.
I think he's going to get those rushing yards. He's definitely going to get some fantasy points. I don't have high expectations for the Jets, though. I think it's going to be a rough season for Fields if he starts the whole season. Probably not. I don't think that they win more than 5 games. I don't think it's going to be the season that Justin Fields supporters want to see. I don't think it's going to justify.
Whoa. I'm sorry. Justin Fields supporters? You mean there's more than one? Besides his mom?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do anything that's going to have Steelers or Bears fans regretting letting him go.
Okay, got to move it along. Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart looks great. I mean, he looks great.
Yeah.
How long does Russell Wilson start?
I'm going to pull up their schedule, man. I think as long as they contend, but without having the schedule in front of me, I'll say right now, I'm going to say Russell Wilson first 9 or 10 games. Interesting thing about this situation, somebody brought up to me. I know that Jameis Winston, he's such a great guy in the media and all of that stuff, motivational.
And boy, can he eat his fingers.
He can, but when you start to look at that roster, and I know no one wants to talk about cutting Jameis Winston, but where does he really fit in there? I almost feel like Jameis Winston, there's other teams in the NFL he'd be a better fit on because you've got Russell Wilson, and I think Russell Wilson has to be the guy as long as he's healthy and as long as you're in contention. But if Wilson struggles or he gets hurt or you fall out of contention, Jackson Dart's got to be next up. So and DeVito hasn't even looked bad, as an emergency option. So it's I'm just looking at what situation do you use Jameis Winston as more than just a motivational speaker?
You use Jameis Winston whenever you really need to turn the ball over late in a game. That's when you use Jameis Winston. Couple guys that are coming into second seasons, do they improve or disprove? Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, I think it's hard to see him not improving. I really wasn't a big Bo Nix guy out of college, to be honest with you. But I think that Bo Nix is going to improve. I do.
Jaden Daniels.
Man, it's hard to...
It's hard to improve on last year.
I mean, after the season that he had. Yeah, it's almost I know obviously CJ Stroud didn't take I think he's going to take a little bit of a step back. And I'm thinking about the year CJ Stroud had as a rookie. And last season, I mean, he was solid, but it wasn't where that rookie year was. I think that Jaden Daniels in the command, I think he's still going to be fantastic, but I think we're going to see a little bit of regression in year 2. People are going to be preparing for him more. He's not going to catch anyone by surprise like last year. It's just hard to see him doing.
Sam Darnold with the Seattle Seahawks. Uh-oh. Sam Darnold with the Seahawks. What do you think? Improve or disprove?
I think disprove.
I can improve on 15-2.
Yeah, I think he's going to regress. Sam Darnold, I mean, the success that he had last season with Minnesota, I think that he got overpaid. I'm not sure.
Colin Cowherd is predicting that the Seattle Seahawks with Sam Darnold will win the NFC West and play in the NFC Championship game this year.
Yeah, I think that's going to go down under where Colin was wrong when it's all
I don't see it. I mean, they'd have to get past both the 49ers and the Rams. And both teams have worries, but I just don't see it. I think Drake May in New England is going to have a great season. And I think we're going to go to this next. What is going to be your most improved team in the NFL? Mine is the New England Patriots. I think they contend for a wild card.
A lot of people are high on the Patriots. You know, I hate to say it, and I know they're in a very, very, very tough division. I hate to say it. I do think that we are going to see. I think the Raiders are going to be a little bit better.
Oh, no. No. Stop it. Come on. Their coach is 70,000 years old. He got dumped by his former team. Geno Smith, I mean, yeah, it's been a nice story that he's come back a little bit, but he's not all that. They've got nothing at receiver. Their cornerbacks are a joke. They've got nothing at safety. Their linebackers are at best okay. They've got one good player on the defensive line. Their offensive line is pretty solid, and I don't think Ashton Genty is all that. I mean, have you seen him play in the NFL in the preseason? It has not been impressive.
Yeah, it's hard to see the now. Let's say that's a team that's looked fantastic that we talked about earlier. The Giants. I mean, what we've seen in the preseason, is it? You think it's worth being excited about, or is it just preseason?
I bet on the Mississippi, the Lane Kiffin, the Rebels. Mm-hmm. All last year, I was betting on them on the spread and on the over, and I won like 80% of the time. Yeah. I mean, they were an over machine. And Jackson Dart was great. Why he wasn't closer to in the Heisman, I'm not really sure. Maybe people just hate Lane Kiffin that much. But I think he's the long-term answer. The Giants have found theirs. You are a Cleveland Browns fan.
Unfortunately, yes.
So, Shedeur, does he play before the end of the year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that Shedeur will be starting by, please, week 7 or week 8 after the bye against the New York Jets. I think that that's the perfect time for him to start. I hate all the talk and speculation, though. Like right now, for him not playing, for Flacco to start the season is the best thing for him. If you look at the Browns, one of the reasons I think that the Browns over/under to win total is set so low, I think that it's not so much the talent, but that schedule is crazy.
Oh, it's crazy.
You got the Bengals, Ravens, Lions, Packers right off the gate. I mean, second game of the season at Baltimore.
They are highly likely to maybe not win a game until like weeks 8 through 12.
Well, I'll say this bold prediction. I think the Browns are going to upset the Bengals week 1 and then probably lose the next 5 or 6.
No.
All right, man. Remember who told you.
I know the slow starts, but I'm targeting Joe Burrow as my fantasy quarterback. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. You know why? They're going to be behind a lot.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward don't do too bad against Joe Burrow in Cleveland. I'm just saying.
I understand. I just think Joe Flacco in that first game, he is 70. So, he's going to have to be out there with the walker. And it just, it doesn't bode well. All right. Worst quarterback room in the NFL is the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. Bar none. Spencer Rattler is terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
And Tyler Shaw, he's a 25-year-old rookie. You know why he's 25 and he's a rookie? He's been injured like 100 times. And not like, dislocated my pinky. No, my leg's been ripped off. My spine's been broken. My neck's been I mean, that guy had like 5 season-ending injuries.
If I remember correctly, I think he sat out the bowl game last year, and I believe his backup lit it up.
Yes.
I actually watched a good amount of such a college football nerd, and I really wasn't overly impressed with him last season.
All right. Speaking of college football, we have real big boy college football tomorrow. I have 2 premium picks over at hittopick.com. Hittopick.com. I think I've got Fresno State, Kansas dialed. And I follow Fresno State really closely, have for years. That's why I was such a big Derek Carr fan for so long. And I follow the MAC, the WAC, and the service academies really closely. So Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky, MAC, WAC, and the AAC. I follow sort of the minor conferences because everybody can talk about Notre Dame. Everybody can talk about Texas, Ohio State, whatever.
1 minute.
So, quickly, UNLV, Idaho State, over 66, UNLV minus 26.5. The Rebels are going to score close to 50 points. Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State. I'm going to take Iowa State in the upset on the money line. Stanford was a 2.5-point favorite in Hawaii in the nightcap. They're now plus 2.5. I'm going to take Stanford on the money line as well. Quickly, tell me where I'm wrong.
I like Iowa State. I agree with you. I like Stanford, and I like Sam Houston. I like Sam Houston State plus 10. A lot of turnover for Sam Houston State, but also for Western Kentucky. I think that number is too large. But I agree with you with Stanford. I mean, so much love for Hawaii. I'm just not there yet. I know Stanford has some holes, but so does Hawaii.
Yeah, Frank Reich knows what he's doing. I mean, he's a former NFL head coach. He knows what he's doing. He's got Stanford on the right track. All right, this has been the Hit the Pick Show. David Delano with the Kung Fu Grip joining us here. David Delano of the No Nickname and the Kung Fu Grip. Thanks for being here, David. Christian Giordani couldn't make it this week. We'll see him next week if he's out of that jail in Mexico or Costa Rica or wherever they put him away. Thanks for being here, everybody.